Greetings and welcome. How are we all feeling today? As perfectly imperfect human beings, we find ourselves in conflict, fighting with our loved ones, becoming angry, and we get so lost in being right that we don't realize it's not about winning the argument. It's about saving the relationship and making sure that you both grow within the relationship together. It's not about winning an argument, because if someone wins, you actually both lose. Because yes, each has their own point, but it's not about right or wrong. It's about understanding how the other person feels and why they are bringing up these things in the argument or in the conflict or in the fight. Because we are so set on what I feel is right, what I think is right, that we don't realize that the other person also has thoughts and feelings and they have their own perspective on the situation. And we forget the importance of the person in the relationship when we are so angry and we just think about, oh, my point, and I'm right, you're wrong. But you both actually lose in the relationship when that happens, because you might think that you've won the argument, but you're losing the person in your relationship. You're losing the connection when you just focus on being right and being wrong the whole time. Then you're actually breaking up your connection with that person. And it's so important that we preserve our connections with our loved ones and we work on fostering a healthy relationship. And you can't do that if you think about right and wrong the whole time, because then it will be a constant back and forth, because you won't meet in the middle and try and understand each other's points and where the other person is coming from. It's not about winning or losing, because if someone wins and someone loses, you both lose, because you're losing your connection with that person. And if you just want to prove that you're right the whole time, then the other person doesn't feel loved and supported and like you have compassion for them. Remember, it's about saving and growing within the relationship. It's about saving the relationship and growing within the relationship and developing the relationship into something stronger, not to weaken it by always having to be right or winning the argument. No one wins in an argument. You need to come to a middle ground where you can agree on a way forward, and you can agree on being compassionate, and that you actually understand where the other person is coming from and what they are feeling and the intensities thereof. If you think of arguments as a competition with the other person and who can say the most hurtful things, then your relationships will suffer, all of them. You can't have that attitude towards connections and relationships with other people, because if you think of it as a competition and like you always have to be right, then all your relationships will suffer, because you're not fostering a healthy connection. If you're thinking of winning the argument the whole time, you are choosing disconnect instead of connection with the person. You need to focus on your communication and understanding one another. It's about growing together. People who don't grow together can't stay together, and it's about fostering a healthy relationship so that you are both happy and healthy within the relationship. And one thing that we tend not to do when we are so angry and we find ourselves in conflict is listening. Listening has a massive influence on which direction the conflict goes to. Because if you actually listen to each other, you'll find that these angry emotions are just hidden. They are just hiding hurts. And you'll start learning how to actually sit back, not say anything, and just listen to the other person. And then they give you your turn to also express, and they listen. Listening is the best communication skill you can have, and it's the best way to improve your connection with your loved one. And another thing we tend to do is monologue, where it's just about what I think, what I say, what I feel. When we are in an argument, we don't actually engage with the other person, we're just talking at them. So focus on engaging in dialogue, where you are both discussing your points in a calm manner, but you are also expressing the emotion that comes along with it. Have empathy for one another's emotions. Because if you don't have empathy, then you can't see where the other person is coming from, and you can't see how they feel. Remember, no one wins in an argument, and it's not about winning the argument. It's about growing and fostering a healthy relationship. So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that beautiful person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.